Oh, you got to cut through. What do? Maybe you're prepping a new hood, maybe a fender, maybe you're working on sanding down some bodywork that you did. And you hit the body line. You sand off the paint and you see a line of bare metal just right along the edge where you've got a new part. Maybe you just bought a new hood at the dealer. Maybe you bought a fender. Maybe you bought a door skin and you're sanding it all down with 400 grit to get it ready for sealer. And you sand through that E-coat. Don't worry. It happens all the time. I do it more than I'd ever care to admit, but there's an easy way to fix this. Actually, there's a couple easy ways to fix this, and there's some not so easy ways to fix this. Let's dive into exactly what products to use, what products to avoid. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to fix many cut throughs that you get in your project without any issues. You won't have to face paint wrinkling off. You won't have to worry about the paint peeling off later down the road. And you'll get a result that looks completely factory. It doesn't have any flaws in it. If you've never run into this before, don't worry. It's not as hard as it seems. This is going to save you so much time and money. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we have a couple products that we're going to be talking about in this video, but let's organize them first. Kind of stack these up here and then put some like and kind products together. And yeah, okay, let's go. So you might have used products like these once or twice or thrice, a bunch of times, right? It seems like these are kind of ubiquitous, right? You go into any auto body store and you have products like this, like self-etch 1K primer, in the Spray Max variety. Maybe you see SEM, maybe there's some other ones, maybe there's some house brands, maybe you're at Napa, maybe there's some Martin stuff on the shelf. There are a lot of different varieties of self-etching primer. You can also get it in an activated version through brands like Nason or Omni. There's a bunch of different ones, and they're really essentially meant to be the bridge between bare metal and primer. But this is kind of an old school way of thinking, right? This is the way stuff might have been done 20 years ago, but technology's changed. There are far easier ways, because a lot of times when you put down 1K self-etch primer, this is loaded with acids and other chemicals that essentially a lot of primers, a lot of sealers, epoxies, urethanes don't like to see. And they'll actually lift. They can react and they'll swell up and cause that wrinkly paint around where you've sprayed this stuff. And it can be an absolute headache to get right once it happens. So how do we avoid this from the beginning, and why don't we want to use these? Well, first, let's take a look at exactly what's in these etch primers and why you might not want to use these. Now, specifically, according to this tech sheet here, and this is for the 1K Spray Max etch primer, but the main thing you want to pay attention to here is this says it contains phosphoric acid. Now, phosphoric acid is great because it chemically converts iron oxide to ferrous phosphate, when it essentially turns rust, which is iron oxide, into ferrous phosphate, which is relatively inert, right, through a chemical process. That works really great on bare metal. But the problem is that's still reactive. The acid is still there. And a lot of these top coats, a lot of the primers that you put on top of it don't want to see that acid. So there's a better way here. So this is okay under some primers. Some paints like feather-filled G2 will call out. If you have bare metal areas, you can treat it with this before you put down that polyester primer. But there's other primers that don't play nice with this. So this is just something to keep in the back of your head. And it's a good idea to do exactly what I'm doing here. Read the tech sheets, before you jump in and start spraying this stuff, because it's far easier just to read the little document than it is to actually be sorting this stuff out later down the road. So yeah, the big problem with this is it has phosphoric acid in it, and that's an acid that's going to react with certain primers. Now I go deep into this all on Make It Match. If you're interested in significantly leveling up your paint game, I put a link down below. It's this little thing that I'm trying out on school.com. It's pretty cool. Let me show you it real quick. It was kind of a ghost town. Now it's not quite so much of a ghost town. And the coolest thing is, just a couple minutes ago, we crossed 200 members, 200 people in here, all working to get better paint. This is so cool to see. And I hope to see you over there. Okay, so we've talked about self-etch primers, right? These are good in a pinch if you're putting them over certain epoxies, maybe certain polyester primers, maybe certain primers, but you really have to read the technical data sheet for the product that you're going to be top coating this with, because a lot of primers are not compatible with these. So I try to avoid etch primer whenever I can. So what I'm going to do here is, these work, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to draw some X's through these. Try to avoid these at all costs. And I've since switched away from this. An acid etch by U-Pull is another one as well. So yeah, we're just going to cross that off, because they all more or less have the same fatal flaw, and that is that phosphoric acid. Well, it is extremely effective at etching into metal. It also comes with its own problems. It is an acid. Certain primers aren't going to stick to it, right? So now we're going to move on to kind of my preferred ways to address stuff like this, right? You have a bare metal area, I've got to get some sort of primer down on it. Do I use epoxy primer? And if you're just doing just that little spot, I would caution you against using epoxy primer, because a lot of epoxies have an open recoat window of like 7 days. So that means that the product is not chemically stable for up to a week. So that means anything you put on top of it can react with it. It can also cause it to swell, to lift, to wrinkle. And that, in fact, that's a lot of times what I see is if you try to top coat over epoxy with too hot of solvents and you haven't let it fully cure, you'll get the same kind of problems that come about with 1K etch primer. So what do you use instead? Well, you either use a really fast curing product or you just use the same stuff you're going to be sealing the part with. Now, if I'm sealing a brand new fender, if I have like e-coat or bare plastic, or I've painted something, I've primed it and I've sanded all that primer down, maybe I just have a small little cut through on a body line that I accidentally sanded that primer a little bit too far up. But I'm going to be sealing the whole panel anyways to give it a consistent uniform base color, right? To stack my other colors on. If I'm painting yellows, I'm going to go over a white or like a really light gray. Maybe if I'm doing orange, I'm going to go over a super light gray or a white. I'm going to use a product like Lessinol Primer Pro Black. And I'm just going to be using the Axo line here as a demonstration because this is what I use almost every time I paint. And I think it's one of the best bangs for the buck out there currently. There's some other variants of this. Lessinol, Sikkens, Wanda, U-Pol, Dynatech. There's options depending on how much money you want to spend on this. But I find Lessinol is kind of like that sweet spot, right? You get excellent color match and the products just work. They just lay out so incredibly nice. So yeah, that's what I like to use and that's what I'm going to be talking about here. Of course, there's other brands. You know, you have Axalta, you have BASF, PPG. They're all good in their own respective ways. Just follow along with this. This is more of a concept video anyways. The products don't matter as much as the process. So just want to throw that out there. So if we come over to the Primer Pro technical data sheet, you can see here that it says it's good to go over bare steel. And it gives you some grit recommendations on here. But the biggest call out here is if you scroll down and you use this as a sealer, which is where you mix it 3 to 1 to 1, which is what I often do with it, you see that it says Primer Pro Surfacer will provide adequate adhesion on small bare metal areas. Repairs that require extensive metal priming, such as panels that have had the existing paint system removed, require auto prep pretreatment wipe application prior to coating with Primer Pro. There we go. That's the key right there. Pretreatment wipe application. What is a pretreatment wipe? Well, it just so happens to be, it's this picture right here. And it comes in 2 forms. These aren't super cheap. Last time I checked, it was about $100 for one of these tubs of these things. It might have even gone up more since then. The world is a crazy place right now. But this is essentially what it is. It's a pre-saturated lint-free towel that you pull out of this container and you wipe it on your surface. And it deposits and converts a chromate conversion coating over the bare metal. It'll kind of turn a goldish amber in color. The key is you want to try to keep the liquid on the metal wet for like a minute. So you might have to reapply it if it flashes off too quickly. And this chromate coating essentially creates a chemical bond between the actual iron and the steel and the aluminum, depending on what substrate it's going over, to the product that's going on top of it. In this case, it would be Primer Pro. And you can put it down with these towels, or you can get this pen, just like I'm showing the video of it here. I like to use the pen personally on small cut throughs, and you just draw it on like a marker over the bare steel, and it'll look shiny at first, but as it flashes off and as it cures, it'll kind of turn a matte gold color. It'll have like a slight bronze hue to it, and that's the coating that you're seeing. But this coating is like almost infinitely thin on a molecular level to the bare metal, but it works so well. So you put that down first, and then you can mix up a little bit of sealer, 3 to 1 to 1, load it in a paint gun, and spray it on. You can spray the whole panel down at once if you're going to seal the whole panel before you put down your base coat, and that's how I like to do it. That's usually what I do when I have cut throughs. But maybe you don't want to seal the whole panel. Maybe you just want to spot in just where that cut through is. You could use Lessinol Primer Pro like this, spot in a little bit, and then use a 1K blending solvent like Lessinol blending solvent. The caveat is it comes in a can and you have to load it into a separate paint gun. It's a whole thing. So if you just want an aerosol can, you can mist over where you put the spot in of Primer Pro. You can get Sikkens SRA, comes in a can. You can get 1K blending solvent from Spraymax, or my favorite, U-Pol blend number 9. That's what I would recommend using. So that's kind of the process there. But there's another way too, and this next way is even cooler. It's even more expensive, but it is so much faster and it's pretty cool. So you want to start with the pre-treatment wipe still. So you've chemically treated your bare metal. It has that gold coating on it. But you don't want to wait around for Primer Pro to flash off and the rest of the panel is perfectly sanded to 600 grit, and you just want to spot in just a tiny bit of sealer over that bare metal and then move right on to base coat, right? So here's how I would do that. I would put this conversion coating down and then grab some of this, either 1K UV primer, and this UV primer, in case you were wondering what this 1K solvent wash is, they say to clean your panel. before you spray any of this stuff with a 1K solvent wash. Really, you could just get a pump-up spray or put in some UPOL 2002 or USC 1240-1 or DX330 or Lessenol surface cleaner. There's a million of them, depending on the paint line you're in. Essentially, it's just a solvent-based degreaser that's going to take any oil, grease, dirt off of the panel before you paint. They just have their own aerosol version of it. I guess they're an aerosol company, and it goes with the territory. So you could use a UV primer like this, or you could grab UV primer filler, light gray. This is nice because it comes in aerosol cans, so you don't have to fuss with it. This comes in a metal can, but you have to be careful with this because it is light sensitive. So if you're going to be putting it in a paint gun, you need to buy a special paint gun that has a black cup on it that's going to prevent the light from getting to the primer, or else if you leave it in the gun, like you spray a little bit and you go, oh, I'll just leave this in here, it doesn't harden until it's out in the sunlight. It'll still harden the gun cup. You just kind of have to keep that in mind. And you want to keep this, all sealed up, keep the lid down, keep the lid on this so it stays shielded from light inside of this can, and it'll last a good long while. But the cool thing is, if we go to the tech sheet for like Lessenol UV primer and you read it, it says, UV primer is not intended for large areas of bare metal. It will, however, provide adequate adhesion if applied directly to small metal areas, so those cut throughs it will. But also for small bare metal areas that must meet the highest standards, which is what I'm all about. This is what I do anyways. Use a pre-treatment wipe, which just happens to be one of these Bonderite prep wipes. It could be the pen, could be the wipe, just something good to think of. And then allow 15 minutes for it to flash off after the pre-treatment application. So there we go. That's pretty much the process for UV primer. Now you can also use SprayMax UV primer, which is pretty much this, and it's good to go over blank steel, galvanized steel polyester surfaces, old factory paintwork, factory primer, plastic surfaces that need to be pre-treated with plastic adhesion promoter, but you can spray it on that too if you have like a gouge or a scratch that you're fixing or something. The only contingency here is it needs to be free of grease and dust. So that's where the solvent-based degreaser is coming about. And if you're using a degreaser before you paint, I would recommend using like a yellow microfiber towel, like one of the ones you get at Costco or something like that. I find that pulls contamination really well off of the surface, and then maybe go over it with a lint-free towel last minute to get it perfectly set before you use a tack cloth and wipe it off. Okay, so we've almost got everything fixed, but how do you cure these UV fillers? Because years ago, you had to buy a special lamp, and they were thousands upon thousands of dollars. Like a lamp was like $2,000 to $3,000, and technology has helped out with that. There's a company called Scan Grip online, and they make two lights that I really like. And personally, I have this one here. This has like a little stand on the back of it. I usually just kind of clip it onto a body stand and move it up to the panel that I just sprayed, put it going, and walk away, because you have to take personal protective equipment seriously with this. This is UV radiation. So it's just like the sun or welding. It's going to burn your skin if you let yourself be exposed to it. So just leave the room or wear, protective clothing. Just be careful around it. But this is the light that I personally have, and it cures this UV primer in just a matter of minutes. So you put it going on it, and it works so well. They make a smaller handheld version of this that's almost looks like a color matching light. And this is a good option if you're just doing really small areas and you're all, suited up and you have your gloves on and you just want to quickly bounce a little bit of light off of it to cure up like some pinhole filler. Colad makes a pinhole filler that also uses this UV light that you could use in lieu of using like a 1K combi putty or something like that, or even mixing glaze, annoyingly, that sometimes you have to do if you find a pinhole in the bodywork right before you go to paint. So anyway, that's exactly how I fix cut throughs. So yeah, not too complicated products wise. This is pretty much down here. This is all you need to fix cut throughs as quickly and easily as possible. And even though it might seem like more work up front, the best part is doing it this way really saves a ton of headache, because you don't have to worry about solvents reacting with pretty much 1K primer, uncured primer like etch primer is. You don't have to worry about things swelling up or reacting or anything like that, because if you use urethane sealer like Primer Pro or whatever paint line you're in, you can just seal the whole panel at once and cover over those cut throughs that you've already pre-treated with a wipe or a pen, and it's going to stick like crazy. You're not going to have any issues. Or if you don't want to do the whole panel and you just want to do one spot with the UV primer, kick it off with the light, get it to harden up and cure up, and then come back with a piece of 600 grit sandpaper, lightly sand down the area you put the primer over, then go through, wipe it all down, degrease it, tack cloth it, go through the paint process like you normally would, lay down your wet bed, your base coat and your clear coat for a blended area. There you go. So that's exactly how I fix cut throughs. Every time I follow this procedure, I usually just stick with Primer Pro since I seal pretty much everything that I spray. And by pre-treating the little cut throughs that I have, I don't have paint peel, I don't have reactions, and I have perfect color matches, perfect final results. every single time. I don't know. It's pretty cool when it works right. And this is just one of the many things I figured out over the last 20 years. And just a tiny bit of the knowledge that I've put together over on school.com. If you're just getting started in automotive painting, or maybe you're already a painter, maybe you're working through things and you're trying to figure out how to get to the next level. Well, I invite you to join Make It Match over on school.com. We just hit 200 members today. I can't believe this is going so well. Used to be a ghost town, but it's starting to grow. And if you're interested in painting, hope to see you over there. All right. That's it for today. Catch you in the next one.